Assalamu alaikum. Uh, this is another video under the Contract Act 1872. So this video we will learn about the consent, and we've already discussed consent, but in this video and the later videos we will discuss deeply about the consent and what about the free consent and what are the effects if free consent is not available within a contract. So let's start about the consent, and here's another word that is consent, consensus at Adam. What does it actually means? And it is under the language of law. This word actually stands for the meeting of the minds. When two parties to an agreement or a contract both have the same understanding of the terms of the contract, such mutual comprehension is essential to a valid contract. So it is provable by the express provision of a written contract without reference to any statement or hidden thoughts outside the writing. There would not be a meeting of the minds. Like if Bill Buyer said, "I'll buy all your stock," and he meant actually shares in a corporation. However, the seller said, "Okay, I'll sell all my stock to you," and he actually mean his cattle. So there is not a meeting of mind. It means the consensus at Adam is actually missing within the contract. So there is no free consent. There's a mistake. So under section 13, there should be a consensus Adam and consent. So two persons are said to consent when they agree upon the same thing in the same sense. Okay, it can be called as a consent. So effect of absence of consent, the effect of absence of consent is that the agreement is not valid, is not enforceable by law under section 19. Because if your consent has been obtained by any other means, as we discussed before, the fraud, coercion, undue influence, or you can say mistake, misrepresentation, then there is no consent, no free consent. So in the section 19, such contract is not being enforceable by law and is not valid. So there are some rules regarding the free consent, and under the section 19, subsection A, they further believe that the effect of absence of free consent is that the contract becomes voidable. Okay, now they are not using the word void, they're using the word voidable. It means the innocent party has a right to rescind this contract or affirm this contract if the consent is obtained by coercion or undue influence or fraud or misrepresentation at the option of the party whose consent was so caused. But if the consent is obtained by mistake, now this is the exception here. If the consent is obtained by mistake, then agreement may be void ab initio or contract is not voidable depending upon the nature of the mistake under the section 19 subsection A. So what is actually void ab initio? What ab initio actually means to be treated as invalid from the outset. Okay, to be treated as invalid from the outset. Actually, it comes from, I think, the Latin phrase ab initio. Ab initio means from the beginning as a qualifier. So, for example, in many jurisdictions where a person sign a contract and there is the contract is treated as being void ab initio, the frequent combination null and void is a legal doubt that actually. The term is frequently used in contradistinction to the term voidable and unenforceable. So in mistake, we will learn about that actually why this contract can be called as a void ab initio in under the um, uh, under the case where the free consent has been obtained from by mistake. So void ab initio we can also explain it that its contract is null from the beginning if it seriously offends law or public policy in contrast to a contract which is merely voidable at the election of one of the parties to the contract. So, actually, in practical terms, void is usually used uh, for in contradiction of voidable and unenforceable. The principal difference between that and action which is voidable remains valid until it is avoided. Okay, so there are some mistakes we will learn in the under the variety of mistakes that if there are mistakes which are not, you cannot perform. If such mistake occur, then such contract can be void. But there are few mistakes which may be rectified, and which concluded as a voidable contract. So there are some exceptions we will learn about it. So in this video, the first thing is the consent. We'll learn about the consent according to the section 13, that there is a mutual understanding. There's in the same sense, and if there is no if concern under the section 19, then the contract is not valid and enforceable. And under section 14, your consent said not to be free if there is a caution, undue influence, fraud, misrepresentation, or mistake. I've highlighted the mistake because this is exceptional. Okay, in these five cases, and under the fact of absence of free consent, the contract is said to be voidable if if the consent is obtained by caution and the influence, fraud, or misrepresentation, whose consent was caused. But if the consent is obtained by mistake, then agreement may be void ab initio, because agreement may be void from the beginning. Okay, and his contract is not voidable depending upon the nature of the mistake under the section 19A. So this is all about the free consent and consent and their effect. So we will learn about the cases in our next videos. Thank you.